Hi, buddy. All right. So we ready for our walk? All right. Heel. Heel. Come. Heel. Heel. Good work on that. Oh, hi. My name is Tiger. That's a buddy over here who's got to go and mark everything he can smell out there on our walk. My wife Alicia's at home. My Agatha, she's at home with Mama. And we're in the process of downsizing. We're in the process now that we're trying to get our household getting ready to move into an RV full time and travel. We both retired early. I retired when I was 52. Wife retired when she was 48. And we've been downsizing since May. And it's what, September? The middle of September now. And it's kind of our journey. So we thought we'd share and talk about, this downsizing process, the retirement process, and, just kind of share our journey into all this. So if you're thinking about downsizing, yeah, definitely is worth it. But I'll tell you the truth, from our aspect, how, some of the struggles and the things we find easy, I'm not going to convey that to everybody. All right. So the number one thing that's on this list, in no special order, is the waiting. Waiting is so freaking brutal, so stressful, so annoying, and just aggravating. And you spend a lot of time, all this hard work, putting things in boxes, donating, gifting, leaving things at people's houses, recycling center, the trash, putting things in storage. You do all this stuff, and then you get to that point, and now you're waiting. You got the house on the market, you got everything ready to go, and now you're just playing the waiting game. And it can be very, very stressful. You're at that stage, congratulations, where it's time for you to sell your house or whatever it is, and so that you can go on to the next adventure, the next stage of your life. But that waiting period, like I said, it can be really, really taunting. Your wife knows, your spouse, your kids, your friends and family, they all know. They're all stressing out, maybe not as much as you, but they're all aware. Your pets are stressed out because all the changes in the house. And you're just sitting there bored out of your mind day in, day out. Of course, you're doing things, like get your last minute medical check-ins and appointments that you can get done. But it doesn't mean that everything's on easy street and you can't do anything until your house sells or whatever. For us, we have an RV that we're going to be picking up next month, and we're spending a lot of our time planning YouTube videos. We're planning trips, trying to figure out where we're going to go, what we're going to do. So yeah, spend that time, that mental capacity, that little nugget you have up there on your shoulders, and work to figure out your next move. What if this works? What if we do this? And what if that doesn't plan out? What about this? So yeah, we're planning. If the house sells, great. If the house doesn't sell, what other options do we have available for us? So we're exploring these options, and we haven't have a definite path that we're taking, but they're all leading to the same direction. So just use that little noggin you have on your head. Okay. Number 2 would be arguing with yourself. Yep. Not arguing with your family members, not arguing with your friends or family, It's arguing with yourself. Yourself, me, I, whatever you want to call them, him or her. And a lot of it is when you're doing the downsizing part and you're going through everything, you're going through every page, every item you own, and you sit there and debate, do I keep this? Is it important? Should I keep this? Should I get rid of it? You have all these a gamut of emotions, and you try to justify why you should keep something, why you shouldn't. And I think the solution with that probably comes down in a couple of categories. If you haven't used it in 2-3 years, maybe it's time to get rid of it. Maybe there's an alternative that you could use instead of holding on to it. I mean, if you really need it, can you borrow it, rent it? You know, some things you can't get rid of. But, you know, like pictures, important documentation. It doesn't make sense to digitize it, put it in a different format so that you don't have to carry around boxes of papers and prints. I know people that have told me they got no pictures. Everything's digitized. The medical records, service record, financials, you know, photos. And if they want something or they need something, they can go to the digital copy and print it up. So explored different options you have for hanging on to the things, and try not to cut and argue with yourself, put yourself down, make excuses why you should or should not keep something. Number 3, storage. Most people that say that they downsize, from what we've gathered and listened to, they put a lot of their stuff in storage. And a lot of the times they don't ever come back for it. They're paying hundreds of dollars a month to keep their stuff storage, and they either forget to pay on it because they update their credit card and then they lose everything anyways, or they're just throwing money away, keeping stuff that they don't need in storage. And let me tell you what, I believe it. We have a 16-foot storage container, and it's over $300 a month just to have it. Now they cost a lot more to ship it from one place to the other. That's the reason why we got it. Allowed us to go through everything and put in there absolutely what we want. You got to be brutal. You have to be brutal when you're downsizing. You have to be aggressive with yourself and why you're keeping things. And if you really need it in storage, put it in storage. For us, we've gone through things 4 or 5 times or more. And this last storage container that we decided it wasn't worth paying over $300 a month on it. And then a lot more to have it shipped. So what did we decide to do? We talked to some family members. They got an empty shed, and we worked out a deal with them to have our stuff stored there until we figure out what we want to do. And that's going to save us $300+ a month, you know, so that helps. You know, and I got a friend that told me that I told her what we downsized to. She kind of chuckled at me, like, when they downsized, they put everything in like the smallest U-Haul trailer they could find, and anything else that didn't fit in it was gone. And now they're full time in a fifth wheel RV. I'm like, wow, Only if I could do that. Only if I was in my 20s. Might be more feasible. That I'm in my 50s. There are a few things I want to hold on to a little bit longer. And when we do settle down in a new home, I like to not have to start over if I can. But if a hurricane comes or stuff gets stolen, I'm not gonna cry. So, but basically, just trying to say, instead of paying high expensive fees for storage, think about alternatives to storage. Think about getting rid of things. Seeing if there's a family member that will let you store something someplace. There are options in there, and just keep the essentials. Argue with yourself some more, apparently, and see what you really absolutely need. Number four. Number four is rediscovering forgotten emotions and memories. And by downsizing and going through everything one thing at a time, allows you to rekindle these memories and emotions that you may have forgotten. Uh, and you can debate and figure out, you take your time going through the gamut of emotions again, and you can figure out if you want to keep it or not, or discard it. There's a lot of things that me and my wife have gone through, and we sit there, or might be sitting there for quite a while, just thinking about an award or a trophy or a picture, or a touristy thing. I don't know what they call them, souvenir. Having that memory and just kind of going through that, and then okay, at the end of it, like, okay, do I really need to keep this? Or yeah, it was a good memory, but what am I going to do with this? Let it go, or do I keep it? And like, I had some letters I found from my son that I wrote to my son when he was little, about being a 9-year champion wrestler, animal wrestler, and those are good times, and it kind of brought me to tears, and I miss those stories I used to give him, and yeah, I kept some of those letters, because it made me feel good. And those are things I want to hang on to. But there's a lot of things, like, hey, I have rocks, or my wife has rocks from places she's visited. She collects rocks. I have a whole basket full of rocks. I'm like, what is this rock from? I don't remember. Why do we need to hang on to it? I'm not ready to get rid of it yet. So there is a lot of emotion and gambits and things, but it's the memories, you get to live through, and going through things one at a time, and it's okay. But being able to go through things, and it gives you time to enjoy those memories one more, and then figure out if you're going to keep it and let it go. You're going to find out that a lot of things can be let go. A lot of things. I don't need it. Oh, this is great. Or I have tools. If I ain't using something, I don't need it. Right? I ain't used it in 4 or 5 years. Why do I have it? So number 5, freedom is a slow process. It's gradual. There's nothing fast about it. You're going to feel a gambit of emotions and loss and helpless. And it takes time to get to that point, but you're going to go through a lot of mixed emotions. And in the beginning, it's going to feel like you lost everything. You gave up everything for what? You're going to debate and argue with yourself. Why did I get rid of this? I could have used this now. Or it's going to take me forever to get back the stuff that I got rid of. Give it time. You're going to find out in a little while, in a little bit of time, I guess. Yeah, a little bit better light. You're going to find out that in time, you're going to be like, wow, I don't miss this stuff. I'm okay without it. I'll survive. There's going to be a whole lot of things that is going to go through your head, and you'll be like, I'm going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Just give yourself some time. It's not a slow or not a fast process. It's a very slow process, and be prepared for the emotions. So hopefully these 5 things will be helpful for you if you're looking at downsizing. And if you have downsized, give me a comment down below. What was the easiest and the hardest part of your downsizing, and what did you struggle with the most? And why did you downsize? I'd love to hear these stories, or if you're planning on downsizing. And if you find this useful, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, like. It all helps. And if there's suggestions for other things you'd like me to cover, let me know. Tell me down below. Until next time. Later. Get in. In.